Hello Power Rangers fans and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I have a box. This is a box from eBay and it has some Power Rangers in space stuff in here. So this is something I actually bought off of eBay quite a while ago. It was actually like a month ago, like early December that I bought this. So I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm just going to go ahead and open up this little haul of in space stuff. I'll try to find a good way to open it here. So there is that. So I'm going to take this out and get rid of the box. It's definitely packed quite well. Wow, that is a ton of bubble wrap. Oh my gosh. So much bubble wrap. And look, everything is individually wrapped in bags. Okay, so we have a bag of figures and a bag of bikes. So I'm going to go ahead and actually start. Let's start with the figures. The bikes are kind of what I actually got this lot for. But the figures are still going to be cool nonetheless. So if I can open the bag. So I always like getting random stuff off of eBay for Power Rangers. I think it's usually pretty fun. And here is an in-space silver figure, which is definitely very strange looking with these purple pieces on the side. It almost looks like, I think they made like a series of Battleized Rangers, kind of like how they gave Red a Battleizer in space. They kind of did something like that for the other Rangers, I think, and I think this is maybe what that figure is supposed to be. Hence why he's a little bit more muscular and kind of has the kind of line work there, which is very weird looking, but it's definitely an interesting figure. Obviously it's an old figure, so it's a little dirty and stuff like that, but that is to be expected with kind of a used lot of items. You do get some head articulation there and some arm articulation, and I just saw a little bit of leg, but nothing too crazy. It's not like the greatest in space silver figure, but it's not what I bought the lot for specifically, so we'll kind of put him back there. So there are two other figures from this lot. This one's a pretty cool one. I'm pretty excited about this one. This one is a Rygog figure, so actually from Turbo. So I don't think Rygog was in space. He might have been, because like a lot of the other Divatox villains were. But this is a pretty cool one here. I really like this guy here. Kind of he looks like some guy wearing like a football armor or something. He's got this giant spike up here. Ooh, look at that. Look at that fun feature. Oh, I like that quite a bit. I think that's fun. What a fun guy. His arms can rotate a little bit, or kind of, they sort of swivel, not really a rotate. And his legs can move. So you can kind of have him frolicking or something like that. So what a fun dude. It looks like he has some pegs for something that I'm sure is missing. Obviously, I'm pretty confident it's missing. The last figure in here is actually a pretty cool one. And that is an Ecliptor figure. So that's a pretty neat one. And actually, it's painted pretty nicely. Obviously, there's some paint chips and scratches and scuffs and stuff like that from being, 25 years old, or something like that for In Space. It's really been that long since that season, I believe, but still pretty nicely detailed. I like the kind of black, just kind of like, not really a matte finish, but then there's some matte finish down here, but kind of a nice solid black there. Looks like he's definitely got some kind of punching feature. I'm sure he's supposed to have had a sword, and then that was supposed to be like a slashing feature. Something like that, but no longer, because, it's an old figure that I bought used off of eBay. But he's got the same kind of articulation, sort of as the Rangers, so kind of this rotating swivel thing there. His arms can move, and his head can rotate. Now, I do believe this is based off of, when you look at the shoulder pad, this is like the original version of Ecliptor compared to, where is he up here? I got him down specifically for this video, compared to his Lightning Collection version, which is his kind of, not cyborg mode, but like, not this mode, but before cyborg, if that makes any sense. That's where this shoulder pad comes from. So, come on, buddy, stand up. That's where that shoulder pad comes from, where it's kind of the more spikier one and everything. This was kind of the more, it's almost like an octagon kind of shoulder pad he's got going on. I think there's even a version of this one that has a cape or something. Ecliptor has like 5 different random variations. It's very strange. This is still a pretty cool figure nonetheless, even though he's missing the sword and everything, but you can kind of just have him on the display. We'll kind of get his arm a little bit more back into a generic pose. Now he's backhanding the sword, so there's that. But we'll kind of, sort of the best you can do it as, I guess, kind of like that. To have it be, see, this is not really working super well to kind of have his arm straight. But, will he even stand? Yeah, he will. So there is that. So those are the figures that came in this haul. But that was not the main reason why I bought this haul, or this lot on eBay. it was these, the Galaxy Glider cycles, because we are technically getting one of these in the Lightning Collection in Deluxe Wave 3, but that one cannot transform into the Galaxy Glider from its bike mode, and I wanted to be able to have one that could do that, specifically this one. So here is Zane's Silver Cycle that can become his Galaxy Glider, and I believe all you have to do for that is just fold these up. I think it's pretty much as simple as that. Actually, you might have to... There we go. Fold the wheels like that. And you got a Galaxy Glider. I mean, it's just as simple as that. But I really do like the silver metallic paint that they used on here. The whole console and everything. It looks really cool. And I mean, Zane didn't use that Galaxy Glider super often. In fact, one of the only times I can remember there being a silver Galaxy Glider in Power Rangers was when Troy and Orion turned into the red and silver in Space Rangers during Super Mega Force's extended finale. That was like the only time I can think of. There's probably a time where he used a actual silver Galaxy Glider, but I wanted to be able to have a bike that could do it, do the actual transformation. And it's pretty simple, so I'm kind of disappointed that the Lightning Collection version cannot do it, because it is such a simple transformation, but I do like it a lot. The details back there with like the rocket and all that kind of stuff. So let's see, how does it balance? Is there a kickstand or something that I'm not seeing? Because I don't know how it's going to balance without that. Okay, well, okay, I guess it just kind of rests on the side like that. But I did bring back from my dorm, specifically for winter break for this, my Lightning Collection in Space Silver figure. So we'll kind of see how well or not well this is going to scale with it, which obviously it doesn't really matter. We are getting a proper Lightning Collection version of this cycle in a couple of months. But, I mean, it's not the best, but it's not absolutely terrible. Granted, I'm really bad. I've always been very bad about actually getting figures to like sit on the bikes. That's kind of the best I got it right here. And that's not, I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that looks good, because it doesn't necessarily, but it's also not the end of the world there. Of course, obviously, since we're going to get a proper scaled bike, I got this mainly to have a proper scaled, or at least to have a version of his Galaxy Glider. And there are pegs on here for the figures that were like the original In Space figures, but whoa. I did not expect that to work. So that actually pegged into his foot. I really wasn't expecting that. So I'll kind of bend his knees like he would if he was flying on a Galaxy Glider. Kind of bend his foot there. Okay, I mean, it actually pegged in. Like, that's a lot more impressive than I was expecting. Look at that. You can actually use it. Only Zane's became the cycle mode in the show, but they did make a bunch of the other ones, which are just the same thing. They're just a, paint scheme difference, but here is the Black Ranger one, which still looks nice. I still like it a lot. I kind of like the inverse color scheme we got going on here. Like the parts that are black or silver here and vice versa, so it is still kind of cool looking. I do like the bottom kind of jets and everything that these have, and I did bring, if you're curious, I did bring Carlos home to be able to do the same thing. So I guess these do peg in. So actually there are two pegs. So I just didn't peg Zane's other foot in. So it doesn't give you a lot of room if you peg both of the feet in. Like he's kind of has to stand pretty, legs pretty close to each other. But you can peg the Rangers in on these original Galaxy Glider bikes, which is something I was definitely not really expecting, but yeah, that's pretty cool. You kind of just have him soar around there and everything like that, so there he goes. I like that quite a bit, actually. So that's pretty fun. So then we'll kind of get Zane to kind of peg in a little bit better on here as well, since there are two peg holes there. There we go. So there is Zane and Carlos. He's coming a little bit unpegged. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not necessarily meant for Lightning Collection, of course, but we'll kind of just pan up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty solid. I think it looks, if you had this on a display, and you got this specifically for Galaxy Gliders, it's going to look pretty good. And while the original Galaxy Glider that we got in the Lightning Collection is definitely not a bad mold by any means if you get one with the proper symbol from the running change, this is definitely not a bad alternative, and I feel like you can find these for relatively cheap. I mean, like I said, this entire lot here, not including the Lightning Collection figures, of course, was about $40 shipped on eBay, which I figured, 2 cycles, 3 vintage figures, if you want to call them vintage or retro or whatever. I was fine with paying $40 for that. It's probably not the greatest deal in the world, and you can probably find them for cheaper, but still, this is pretty cool. I like it quite a bit. I hope you guys all enjoyed this little video here. I like doing videos like this where I kind of just buy random eBay stuff from Power Rangers. I've done it for like SPD stuff, Megaforce stuff. I really think it's a fun thing to do whenever I kind of get some deals or just kind of pick up some random things for the collection. And this is no exception here because I figured that they would work pretty solidly with the Lightning Collection, and I am pretty happy with the results. I didn't necessarily want Carlos's Galaxy Glider because now I'm kind of inclined to get the other four. I mainly got this specifically for Zane's since we have the bike coming, and I could do a comparison between the two bikes when the new one does release. But if you have the original version of the Lightning Collection In Space Silver figure, if you're one of the lucky people to get that one, and you want to use the vintage Bandai one to actually kind of be the substitute for the vehicle, it's not the worst thing in the world there. I definitely can recommend trying to track these down. I actually kind of got the idea to get these from the Power Ranger World video about the in-space figures. He showed them off in his video, and I was kind of inspired to then try to track some of them down for myself. Maybe I'll get the other four, maybe I'll just stop here, but nonetheless, I think this was a fun little video to make here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And let me know down in the comments below, do you have any of these Power Rangers in space items? Do you plan on getting any of them? Do you go with your Lightning Collection figures, or are you just settling with what Hasbro gives us in the line? And until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveRangerKey or at LightningFigPR, and I will see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Magi Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comics 1017, James Doherty, Monster Rocket, John Luke, Eric Berry, and Tyler Bozetsky. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, link in the description below.